The presentation hall of the Kingdom of Gwelinor is not so different from that of my homeland. They are both places that people gather to see and be seen, to make proclamations, and to apply the combined force of centuries of tradition to all that occurs within. If I were at home, the crowd of nobles and attendants and hangers-on would be freckled with familiar faces, friends and rivals alike, come to witness my humiliation. Here, the knowing eyes are fewer, but I cannot escape into anonymity. After this, everyone will remember my name. Oh, the steward. I haven't done your voice in forever.
Madeleine Valois, the Kingdom of Osendoware. You stand here today accused of high felony against the crown of Gwelinor. You have subjected our rightful heir, the Princess Cassidy, to assault and false imprisonment.
Where is Cassidy, anyway? I don't see her in this crowd, nor Callum either.
You have inflicted physical harm upon your master, Oscar of Osendoware.
But Duke Farad, he is there, watching me through narrowed eyes. Prince Gaston and Prince Nazagi as well.
You have acted on your own and against orders in the pursuit of your own glory and brought shame upon your country.
I notice that they are not accusing me of murdering the guard we left outside the gates. Do they even realize there was an assassination attempt? It would be nice if they used some of their resources to investigate the actual threats to the crown. Assigning all blame to me will make it that much more difficult for them to bring charges against anyone else. Unless, of course, that is the idea. To allow their enemies to feel more secure in the hopes that they will overreach? That's a very risky game to play with Cassidy's life. But they haven't asked for my opinion, have they?
What is your answer to these charges?
I admit my guilt, and await His Majesty's judgment. Oh no. Not his voice. There's a brief outburst of curses and condemnation before King Priedrick holds up his hands for silence.
As Miss Valois is not a citizen of Gwelinor, she cannot be given the full penalty for treason. She was also admitted to our lands as an honored guest, and is entitled to certain protections of hospitality.
An ugly murmur starts to build in the crowd. They've heard what I've done. They don't like the idea that I might get away with it.
Thanks to the heroic actions of our son Callum and the page Dolores Orpha, Princess Cassidy has been safely recovered. It is our belief that the greatest harm done in this affair has been to the Kingdom of Osendoware.
Oscar. I can see him, standing with the wisdom, his face turned away.
Therefore we will honor our relationship with that kingdom. The criminal will be kept in chains until such time as she can be returned to her homeland. There she will receive whatever punishment her sovereign ruler sees fit to assign, as is his right.
Oh, clever. They've managed to make it look as if they're doing Osendoware a great favor, while at the same time putting pressure on them. I am not so paranoid as to believe that the entire affair so far has been arranged to bring about this outcome. Neither I nor Osendoware is important enough in the scheme of things to be worth so much effort. No, this is simply the result of the great game of politics. A skilled player never lets any opportunity for gain slip by unnoticed. Unfortunately, my current position leaves me little in the way of opportunity. Darn.
Do you have anything you wish to say for yourself?
With enough wishes we could put the world in a bottle. No, my lord. I thank you for your mercy and your wisdom.
So be it. Take her away.
Peh. Pedots. So, this is what all my hard work has come to. Alone in a cell in a foreign land. I have not failed my duties. Oscar is protected. Even Cassidy is safe for now. Or is she? I have known Cassidy only briefly, but it is difficult to imagine the kind and caring princess I met going along with this charade. And neither Cassidy nor Callum was present at the audience. Has something happened to them? King Priedrick and his wisdom Paloma have shown themselves willing to mislead and manipulate their own children in the past. There may be schemes underway that I have not yet guessed. What of Dolores and her mysterious protection? Yeah, she too was not present to hear my sentence. What reward has she received? Perhaps I acted hastily by agreeing to take this fall, but my options at the time were extremely limited. And still are. I'm trapped in here. I need eyes and ears on the outside, or I can't risk taking any action. But who would possibly come to my aid? Oh, Callum, please rescue me from this horrible place. He might assist me, if anything he has said to this point has been true. That I don't know. I want to find out what is going on, but for now, all I can do is wait. Chapter 5a, The Panther. The Panther in ballet shoes. I sit on my prison bed, absently toying with a bit of loose string. I am not being mistreated. They've even remembered to feed me. Not pastries and tiger nut milk, of course, but not pig slops either. The amenities don't go so far as to include a bath, but, well, one can't have everything, I guess. Isolation is meant to be its own form of torment. In time it will be, I know that. For the moment, though, the solitude is peaceful. I've been kept on edge for too long, worrying about my future, worrying about Oscar, watching those around me for signs of violence and betrayal. Now it's all out of my hands. There is a kind of freedom in that. Memories, dreams, and fantasies swirl unfettered in my mind, replaying past events and imagining how they might have turned out differently. If I had rushed directly to Callum's room when Cassidy vanished, before Dolores had a chance to steal her away, or if I had delayed Prince Callum in the passage at the ball, and he had never taken her at all. But no, I couldn't have stopped Callum from abducting his sister. He'd been planning it for years. He would never have let me stand in his way. As for rescuing Cassidy from Callum's rooms, would that have made any difference? Callum would still have needed to learn that he was wrong about his sister, and his parents would still have needed to cover up his crime. The roots of this situation run too deep for any action of mine to have swayed their course. There is a sickness in the court of Guelenor, one which did not end with the death of Prince Caspian. That's interesting. Oh, flashback. Farad, I haven't done your voice in forever.
Do you honestly know so little of the situation as that? You should pay more attention to your lessons, girl.
If you mean the princess no harm, why are you traveling with firearms?
In case someone else means harm to me and mine.
There's an obvious tension between the royal couple and the Duke and Duchess. He came here expecting trouble. That was an interesting flashback. Was that paranoia on his part, or did he have wind of events in motion? Lost in my thoughts, I haven't yet had time to grow lonely, and thus turn only half an ear to the sound of footsteps passing my cell door. I certainly never expected that door to be opened. Surprised, I spring to my feet as someone enters. Oh! You! What? Oh, so close. He crosses to my side and takes hold of my shoulders. Why did you do it? Do what? He can't be talking about my kidnapping Cassidy, can he? He knows it's a lie. Or is this a show for some onlooker? Why did you go along with this charade? I thought you understood. I thought you were stronger. No, whatever this is, I don't think it's for show. He is truly angry. At his parents or at me? I didn't have a lot of choices. I was alone. I was disarmed. I was arrested. His fingers tighten on my arms. You lied for them. I did what I had to do to protect my prince. I didn't have any good options. And now you've let them make you a pariah. For nothing. He gives my shoulders a final shake, then steps away, throwing up his hands. It's only then that I notice the other person who's entered my cell. What are you doing here, Dolores? Yeah, what is she doing here? That's the gilding on the gingerbread. Meet my new valet. What? That's ridiculous. Believe me, it weren't my idea. She works for you? Of course not, but I'm saddled with her anyway. Whether it be to spy on my actions or simply to annoy me into an early grave, I have no idea. I shake my head. I don't understand anything that's happening here. Can you please explain this to me? What happened after you returned to the castle? You first. Fine. I was in a room with that creature, indicating Dolores, and I tried to ask her why she'd done it, but she wouldn't tell me. Next thing I know, the guards come in and say I'm the criminal, and they haul me off. No explanation. And not a word out of her, I like to add.
Like you would have spoke up if you'd slipped the noose.
The answer is obvious. There's no point in my stating it. Sometime later, Oscar came to me here and told me he'd been made to strike a bargain with Friedrich and Paloma. For my confession, I leave with my life and my prince's reputation unsullied.
You sell yourself too cheaply.
Oscar is my responsibility. You would do anything in the world to protect your sister, wouldn't you? He doesn't answer. What did they do to you to make you take up with her after what she did? What did they tell you?
Nothing. The same as ever. All I have been told is that this woman is owed a debt of some nature. As a matter of honor, her crime must be forgiven.
What is this debt?
Therefore, the blame must fall on someone else, and you gave yourself into their hands.
All of this is happening because of Dolores. She has to be more than a simple peasant girl. So what is this debt? Why are they protecting you?
I don't know. I don't know anything. But don't expect me to be sorry. So which of us is the greater fool? As my parents have surely made us all into clowns. You do that to yourselves.
Be silent!
I should have killed you when I had the chance. So why didn't you?
He looks away and it falls to me to answer her question. Because you weren't a threat because Oscar and I stopped him. Well, we kinda stopped him. But I mean, all we did was say, no, don't kill her. Yeah, you weren't a threat. I don't think. It wasn't necessary. If Callum had wanted Dolores dead, he could have crushed her throat before Oscar or I had a chance to intervene. Exactly. He didn't kill her because he chose not to. You were disabled, and your goal wasn't to hurt Cassidy. You just wanted the money. You weren't a threat anymore. Irritation is not enough reason to kill someone.
Though it can be tempting.
We didn't know then how much trouble you really were. Actually, we still don't. Everything about Dolores remains an open question, an unanswered mystery. Yeah. Why did you bring her here?
Say the word, I'll go. I don't trust her out of my sight.
So, the self-inflicted misery of her presence is better than wondering what she's doing behind his back. But how can we discuss anything meaningful with her standing here listening? I'm not sure what you're doing here at all. I am supposed to be a prisoner.
My esteemed parents do not wish to give the impression that I am in full rebellion. Without specific orders otherwise, the guards are unlikely to deny me access.
Yes, but why are you here? What do we do now? What's your plan? All at once he appears uncertain.
I don't have one.
Oh, great. Turning away from me, he slams his palm against the stone wall, then sighs and lets his head sag down. Over the strong line of his shoulders, I can see his head shaking, his hair blocking his eyes from mine.
It's all falling apart. I have succeeded in every goal I set myself, and yet the success turns to dust in my mouth. Is there nothing in the world that they can't destroy?
I don't understand.
My sister. I fought for her. All these years, and she swore to me that everything would change. You heard her. Nothing will stand between us again. I am an adult, and I will defy our parents. And the moment we returned, she went back to them. The king and his wisdom, the central cogs in this machine that crushes everything in my life. Even you they have tainted.
Oh, no, Callum. No. I lay my hand against the muscle of his arm. He stiffens, his head rising back to attention. I haven't been turned. After everything you've told me, I know better than to trust Friedrich and Paloma. I agreed to this deal as a stopgap to protect Oscar because I had no other option at the time. I had no choice because I couldn't reach you. I haven't given up. I want to know what's really happening here, but I'm powerless on my own. Oh my goodness, what a picture! What's with the scary smiles, you two? He turns and catches my hand in his thumb rubbing over the calluses of my palm. If you believe yourself helpless, then they have corrupted you. I tighten my grip and tug him a little bit closer. As long as I'm alive, I'm never completely helpless. But you could walk through this door at your own command. I can't. I've been stuck here waiting for you and Cassidy to tell me what's happening. Why are you smiling at me like that? You. His other hand comes to rest on my elbow just above my waist. I shouldn't have been angry with you. I've simply become accustomed to my family ruining anything that I might. Oh, about all the soggy clouds in the sky. Dolores! If you're going to Tupper, get it over with already. Get out! Any more of this honey and I think I'm going to vomit. Ugh. Reminded of his audience, Callum nearly shoves me away in his haste to break contact. Dolores only smirks. Are you trying to make people want to swat you? I don't want to be here any more than you do. Right. So, what are we doing about that? I don't believe I'm allowed to simply walk out of here with you. No. What's Cassidy's opinion of all this? Does she have any idea what your parents' true plans are? I haven't spoken with her. Are the guards under orders to bar you from reaching her again? I don't know. I haven't tried. You haven't tried? Got mud in your ears? Why should I? I fought my way to her before. Now she was supposed to fight for me. She promised me. You came in here to yell at me for giving in and letting things happen the way your parents wanted, while I was being threatened and forced to make the best choices I could under pressure. But you took what they gave you and haven't even tried to resist because you're sulking about Cassidy? There is no point in straining myself to reach someone who does not require my aid. How do you know she doesn't want your help? She's done nothing. She's been locked up her whole life. She's probably scared. How would she know what to do? She said that she would resist them. I'm giving her the chance to prove her own strength. You're sulking. You remind me of somebody I knew in another life, in another place. He also liked to sulk and hide in his room. And beyond her, what about me? Are you going to leave me locked up here when you know it's for nothing but a lie? Cassidy's in her tower. I'm in a dungeon. You're chained to a traitor, and there are assassins on the loose. Are you really going to let them win? Valois, you are stubborn, overreaching, obnoxious, and right? Yes. I will attempt to make contact with my sister. I don't know how difficult it will be, or what we can arrange after that. If nothing else, I will send you a message. Can we go now, or are you two going to stand here making eyes at each other all day? Callum closes his eyes and takes a slow breath, his fingers flexing. Yes, we will be leaving now. He stares at the top of Dolores' head as if he wishes it would burst into flame. Together, they walk to the cell door. Oh, bury that. Oh! Before I can blink, he returns to me. Oh! His lips press hungrily against mine, and I... Kiss him back, girl! Melt into the sensation. Ooh, I like this new music. Spanish guitar. Ooh. Oh, for stars' sake. No one is paying attention to her. Oh, Dolores. The kiss must have lasted only for a few moments, but my sense of time and everything else was spinning. Look at her face. She's like, oh boy. He's got it bad for her. I will come back for you. Right. This time the leaving is final. Callum signals to the guards and he and Dolores are released from my cell. Once they are gone, the door is slammed and locked back into place, leaving me alone. For now. He kissed me. I've never been kissed like that before, not by anyone. I never expected. But it's not right, is it? Callum is a prince. I am little more than a servant. Less, now that I am a prisoner. And my loyalty should be to Oscar. I'm becoming far too caught up in events that should not concern me. My responsibility is to protect Oscar, not to meddle in Gwelenor's politics. And yet, my other purpose was to see Oscar married safely and well. No one expected me to achieve a union with Gweleanor, but if I did, everything would be forgiven. Even if Cassidy did not pardon and reward me herself, and I'm sure she would, Osendower would grant me the benefit of my actions, and my prince would prosper. Seen in that light, it is surely my duty to pursue contact with Cassidy and Callum. Contact, indeed. There is no obligation for a prince to live like a monk. Some potential brides may frown on premarital escapades. Others prefer a mate with experience. It is the woman's choice what she wants, and the man's choice what he wants to be. There would be no outrage on the part of his family if I were to spend time with Callum, only if I were to attempt to marry him. And considering the value they seem to place on him as a marriage token, perhaps not even that. They have had their share of well-wed sons. What am I thinking? This is ridiculous. One moment's excitement is not a promise of anything, not on either of our parts. I'm not even sure how I feel about him, much less what he feels about me. Far more important, for political purposes, is the question of how Cassidy feels about Oscar. There most certainly would be an uproar if she exercised her prerogative to choose a husband so quickly. But she is the heir. If she makes that decision and stands by it, that would be that. But would she dare? Can I convince her that my sweet Oscar is the man whom she should raise to the throne? None of this makes any difference until I can actually speak with Cassidy again, or at least send messages reliably. For now, I must be content to wait. At least I know that all hope is not lost. Thus, for the moment, I remain at loose ends, floating between moments without so much as a deck of cards with which to amuse myself. But that is not so terrible. I still have a window. My parents believed that children should be seen and not heard. This applied more to myself than to my sister, for she was older and heir, not just a child. In those lessons which we shared, I was meant to wait my turn while she asked the questions. In public, I was meant to listen, not speak. And so I did. I could sit in a chair for hours, never moving, never speaking. Easy enough if there was a scene of interest unfolding in front of me. Easy also if my seat allowed me a glimpse of the outdoors. Sunlight on leaves, grass in the breeze. Somehow the sight of these sets my mind free to wandering. I could be a rabbit, leaping across the hills. I could be an insect with a pretty red and black shield on my back. Or perhaps I could be the fairy of dawn, painting each blade of grass with its tiny drop of dew. It has been a long time since I last remembered my daydreams, but they are still out there waiting for me. I stare out the window, lost in my mind, until at last darkness comes and I find sleep. Ah, sleep dots. I didn't have a rough night this time. Interesting. It is the sunlight again that rouses me in the morning. For those first moments I don't quite remember where I am, and roll up against the stone wall when trying to get out of bed. Then of course it all washes over me. Oscar. Cassidy. Callum. Callum promised that he would come back for me. I have no idea how long it will take for him to reach his sister or come up with a new plan. There's nothing I can do but wait. I may as well go back to sleep. How often do I get the chance to lie in with my regular occupation? But as I should have expected, it is not quite so easy to convince my body to return to slumber. Instead, I lie awake, staring up at the stone ceiling. I wonder how many blocks there are over my head. Alas, counting them, more than once just to be certain, still takes up very little of the day. Inactivity is a luxury that quickly becomes a burden. I thought it would be easy for me, with my childhood background to draw on. Perhaps I've changed more than I thought I had. Footsteps.